Let's talk about the internet, a place we once believed would preserve everything forever. A digital vault where the world's knowledge, stories, and history would be safe for generations to come. It was supposed to be the ultimate archive, a living memory for humanity. But right now a crucial battle is unfolding behind the scenes. News publishers who have spent decades building up vast digital archives are suddenly pulling their stories from the digital record. This isn't just about a few articles disappearing, it's about entire chapters of our shared history vanishing from public view. Imagine the world's biggest library, filled with the stories of our times, and suddenly, the most important books start vanishing overnight. The shelves grow emptier, and the knowledge we took for granted slips away, sometimes without anyone noticing until it's too late. News organizations, often called the writers of history's first draft, are now blocking the Internet Archive and other preservation projects from saving their work. The very people who document our world are now locking away their own records. Why is this happening? The answer lies in the rapid rise of artificial intelligence, a technology that's changing the way we access and use information at lightning speed. AI companies need mountains of text to train their chatbots and language models. Decades of news articles with their rich reporting and diverse perspectives are the perfect source material for these systems to learn from and mimic human language. Publishers realized their archives were being used as free fuel for AI, and they're not happy. They see their hard work, their journalism, being scooped up and repurposed by tech giants, often without credit, permission, or compensation. They argue that AI companies are essentially stealing their content to build products that could one day replace journalists and newsrooms, without paying or even asking. It's a fight over ownership, value, and the future of information itself. So publishers are taking action. They're blocking web crawlers, using digital barriers like robots.txt files, and telling both AI companies and the historical record, you can't have this. It's a digital standoff with huge consequences. The Internet Archive, a non-profit that's been saving the web since 1996, is now caught in the crossfire. Its mission to preserve knowledge for everyone is suddenly under threat. Publishers now see the archive not just as a library, but as a potential back door for AI companies to access their content. This shift in perception is changing the rules of digital preservation. The outcome of this standoff could reshape how we remember our past and determine whether future generations will have access to the stories that shaped our world, or whether those stories will simply fade away, lost to time and technology. So, who's leading this digital lockdown? Not just small outlets. Major players like the New York Times, USA Today, CNN, BBC, and Reuters are blocking the Internet Archive's crawlers. The Times says their content is being used by AI companies in violation of copyright law, threatening their business. USA Today, with hundreds of local papers, is also on board, risking the loss of local history from the public record. Even stories about small-town events could disappear. Some, like The Guardian, are taking a middle path, limiting, not blocking, the archive's access. It's a compromise to protect content from AI scraping, but still allow some historical preservation. But even these partial blocks show how seriously publishers view the AI threat. The relationship between news outlets and the Internet Archive is being rewritten after decades of cooperation. The Internet Archive is the world's digital attic, a vast and ever-growing collection of knowledge, culture, and history stored not in dusty stacks, but in the cloud. It's a place where the past is never truly lost, and where anyone, anywhere, can access the stories, ideas, and records that have shaped our digital age. Founded in 1996, the archive began as a bold experiment. Could we save the web for everyone before it vanished into the ether? Back then, the internet was young and fragile, and much of what was published online risked disappearing forever. Its most famous tool, the Wayback Machine, lets you travel through time online, seeing what websites looked like years, even decades ago. Over 1 trillion pages have been preserved, capturing everything from breaking news to forgotten blogs. Automated bots like IA ArchiverBot tirelessly crawl the web day and night, taking snapshots of pages and storing them for posterity. These digital archivists ensure that even the most fleeting moments online are not lost to time. This archive is vital for researchers, journalists, and historians. It's our digital memory. It's not just nostalgia. Without it, we'd lose the ability to trace how information, opinions, and even facts have changed over time. Journalists use it to track changes in stories, uncovering edits, retractions, and sometimes even cover-ups that would otherwise go unnoticed. Lawyers rely on archived web pages as evidence in court, using them to prove what was said, promised, or published at a specific moment in time. And historians study online culture, piecing together the evolution of our society, politics, and even memes from the digital traces we leave behind. The Wayback Machine preserves original versions of articles, holding power to account, and making sure that the public record can't be quietly rewritten. But now, the archive is collateral damage in a new and escalating fight, caught between powerful publishers and rapidly advancing AI firms, both eager to control the flow of information. The archive insists it's just a library, a public service dedicated to preserving knowledge, not a copyright violator or a tool for tech giants. They've even tried to prevent mass scraping by AI, adding technical barriers and warnings, but publishers argue that these efforts are too little, too late. As long as content is accessible online, it remains vulnerable to misuse, manipulation, or outright erasure. No matter how many locks you put on the doors, the archive is stuck in a battle it never wanted, pulled between the ideals of open access and the realities of copyright law and commercial interests. The stakes? Nothing less than the future of our digital history, the collective memory of a generation, at risk of being lost or rewritten. If the archive loses access, our collective memory could shrink overnight, erasing decades of culture, knowledge, and truth from the public record. Why do AI companies crave old news? It might sound strange, but in the world of artificial intelligence, yesterday's headlines are tomorrow's treasure. The stories, opinions, and facts printed decades ago are now being dusted off and fed into the hungry minds of machines. Because training a language model is like raising a genius. It needs to read everything. The more it consumes, the smarter it gets. Old news offers a vast, diverse, and rich tapestry of human knowledge, culture, and language evolution. News articles are perfect, well-written, fact-checked, and structured. They capture the way people really communicate, debate, and report on the world around them. They teach AI how to write, summarize, and understand context. By learning from real journalism, AI models pick up on nuance, tone, and the subtle art of storytelling. The Internet Archive has been a goldmine for this data, organized, accessible, and vast. It's a digital time capsule preserving decades of reporting for anyone or any machine to explore. AI developers have scraped millions of articles from it to train their models. Every headline, every editorial, every obituary becomes a lesson for the next generation of AI. AI companies argue they're just using public information for research. They claim that this data is already out there, waiting to be learned from, and that their work pushes technology forward for everyone. Publishers see it as their work being taken for free to build competing products. They worry that their carefully crafted journalism is fueling tools that might one day replace them. It's the classic Silicon Valley play: use existing content, disrupt the original creators. The tech world thrives on breaking the rules and rewriting them in its favor. For the first time, publishers are fighting back, building digital walls, paywalls, copyright lawsuits, and new licensing deals are becoming the new normal. The conflict is about more than data. It's about who controls the future of information. Will it be the journalists who report the news, or the algorithms that learn from it? As the battle lines are drawn, one thing is clear: the stakes are only getting higher, and the outcome will shape how we all access knowledge in the years to come. This isn't just a tech squabble, it's a legal war. The big question: does scraping public content for AI training break copyright law? Publishers say yes, and they're suing AI giants like OpenAI and Microsoft. The New York Times claims AI models can reproduce its articles, bypassing paywalls and threatening their business. AI companies argue it's fair use. They're transforming the data, not copying it. But with publishers now blocking crawlers, they're making it clear: our content isn't up for grabs. The outcome of these lawsuits will shape the future of both AI and journalism. The stakes: billions of dollars, and the survival of public archives. Blocking the Internet Archive has real consequences. The biggest casualty? History itself. The Wayback Machine has been our digital memory for decades. Without it, future historians and researchers will find black holes where news once lived. Accountability suffers too. Journalists and fact-checkers lose a vital tool for tracking changes and holding power to account. If news sites can quietly edit or delete stories, the public loses trust. Imagine a major expose softened after pressure. Without the archive, the original could vanish forever. Journalists, whose job is to seek truth, now work for organizations making it harder to verify that truth. By blocking the archive to fight AI, publishers risk erasing the very record that keeps them honest. The cure for AI copyright may be worse than the disease. We risk losing a trustworthy, accessible historical archive. Let's see it from the publisher's side. Journalism is expensive and the industry is in crisis. Ad revenue is down, competition is fierce. Now AI companies are using their archives to build products that could replace them without paying. Why would readers subscribe if a chatbot can summarize everything for free? Publishers see this as an existential threat. Blocking the archive isn't about malice, it's about survival. Their message: if you want our content, license it and pay for it. They're forcing AI companies to the table, demanding journalism be valued. Not everyone agrees with the publisher's approach. Journalists and digital rights advocates are pushing back, arguing that blocking the archive is an attack on the public good. Groups like Fight for the Future have launched petitions, joined by working journalists who rely on the archive. They warn that sacrificing the historical record is dangerously short-sighted. Without the Wayback Machine, it's harder to hold power to account and track misinformation. News organizations, champions of transparency, are now self-censoring by hiding their own history. Advocates urge publishers to find technical solutions that protect content from AI scraping, but preserve public access. The message: you can't protect journalism by destroying the tools that keep it honest. We're caught between publishers fighting for survival and activists fighting for memory. Some outlets, like The Guardian, are experimenting with limited access instead of total blocks. The Internet Archive could develop tools to allow historical snapshots while blocking mass AI scraping. Licensing deals between publishers and AI companies are emerging, but risk leaving the public out. The big questions remain. Is the Internet a marketplace, a library, or both? Who owns history? The decisions made now will echo for generations. We need a balance that protects creators, fosters innovation, and preserves our shared record. Before history is lost, let's find a solution that works for everyone.